What's going on, everybody? I just want to make a little video just to talk about what's been going on with Cyberpunk 2077 on both PCs and consoles. I know consoles have been getting a bad rap as of late, and in a way, rightfully so. I myself don't think they should have been put on the base consoles. And as people saying the code is broken, the game is broken, well, you got to remember when you're playing on, say, a Series X or a PS5, you're playing the old code, and for the most part, the game runs great. I've had a few little slight hitches there with the pausing for a couple seconds. I believe that's more like when you're loading into a new area. They did update a new patch with 1.04, I believe it is, and so far that's been taken care of. That's the only really issue I had with the game on my Series X, and it's been a very enjoyable experience. Now, the PC. With the PC, you're it's a little bit different ball game because you've got a lot more settings to deal with. With PCs, of course, you have the DLSS, you have ray tracing, you have so many more graphical settings. Whereas the consoles, they're pretty much you have a set number of settings, and you can either turn them off, turn them on. There really is no slider. But for the most part, I play on the Series X, and for the most part, I'm absolutely enjoying it. I don't find it grainy, or I don't find it blurry. I don't find it bad looking or runs bad. In the performance department on the Series X, it runs 60 frames. It does dip back and forth, sometimes down to 55 or so, which I don't have a problem with. I play it in quality mode for the best visual representation on console. It is a lock 30. It's beautiful. It runs fine. I have no issues with it. With the base console, of course, people are getting, like on the base Xbox, they're getting 12 to 17 frames a second, which is very, very unplayable. And I can see the disdain some people may have for that, because I know a lot of people on the console side of things, anyways, we're probably getting to play on Xbox One and PS4 base systems, and even on PS4 it does not run that well. Now on the Pro and the Xbox One X, it runs around 30 frames a second, dipping into the high to mid 20s, which can sometimes, if depending on what scene you're in, if you're in a high-end battle situation, gunplay, yeah, it can be a little discerning. But we gotta remember all the games that came before this that were complete shit shows. With No Man's Sky, when that first came out, that game was utterly hot garbage. Today, everyone loves it that plays it. They did a lot of overhaul with it, a lot of patching, and a lot of work to it to pretty much make it to where it is today. And it's a pretty damn different type of game now. Witcher 3, we all remember, that was buggy as hell. That had a lot of graphical issues. It had a lot of frame rate issues, especially on the base systems, the PS4, the Xbox One, and Project Ridge for the most part patched them, and it runs fine. This video I'm taking here may look a little grainy. I'm zoomed in using my phone to reframe the shot. I'm not playing anything. I have the audio turned down a bit, and I have the music turned off so I don't get any type of copyright strike. But this runs fine on the next gen hardware. And it kind of gets me a bit mad when I hear people that the console versions are crap. Well, the base versions are. Now it's kind of like, say, with the PC. Say if you have a base PC, right? And this game is definitely made for the higher end PCs with the newer graphics card, with the newer processors and such, and to get the best possible graphics and performance. Now, if I have a base PC, say maybe like an i3 with 4 to 8 gigs of RAM, say with a GTX 750 or a 960, that game's probably going to run and look like shit. No doubt. But do we say the game's broken? Well, no, because it's the same code that's running on the higher end systems, and that's just kind of like with the consoles. The game that's playing on the Xbox Series X is the same game that's played on the base Xbox. And the way they have it coded is that it recognizes the system it's being played on, and it scales the performance to that. Should they have put it out on the base Xbox and PS4? Yeah, probably not. I think they should have put it out minimum Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. It definitely is a game that does not play well on the base systems, and rightfully so. It's a pretty dense game. There's a lot of multifaceted things going on with the lighting, the shadows, the texturing, the quality of the models, the amount of pedestrians that are in the scene. I'm in a kind of a way off section of the scene, so there's not a lot of people and not a lot of traffic going on. But I just wanted to make the video just to give my thoughts and perspective on it. Is it a shit show? I don't think it is. Does it deserve, the 2.3 ratings to get them? No, it definitely does not. I've give it, from what I've played of it and my experience with the game, I definitely easily give it an 8.5. It's a fun game. It's very immersive. The storyline is really good, and I like the fact that you can leave the main story off to the side and just do side missions and explore the cities and explore the different facets of Night City and Pacifica and the Badlands. And I love how things in the game are completely different. Like you go to different bars, different clubs and such. It's a totally different type of atmosphere, different type of music, different type of lighting, different type of crowd. Everything just feels like it's its own thing. And I think they did a really good job that people aren't really seeing the whole picture. Will bugs get fixed? Of course. CD Projekt Red's known for fixing their mistakes and getting patches out and updates out on the games at a regular good schedule. Now, also remember, we still haven't got the next gen version of this on the Series X and the PlayStation 5. We're still running the old code from the base systems, and so I'm excited to see where they take it. I know I have a feeling that you'll probably see 4K 60 with the performance mode bumped up to 120 frames. You're probably going to see a 4K texture pack and ray tracing added. I think the way the game is now, it looks fabulous on the new systems. It plays fine on the new systems. And that 1.04 patch that just feels like, for me anyways, it's alleviated that little loading hitch where it pauses for a couple seconds. Now that would randomly come up for me. It wasn't. I would rarely get it. I could play it for a few hours, and I'd rarely, maybe one or twice in a few hour play would get it. And it felt like to me that it was loading in the assets for the next part of the city I was going to. It would never happen during a fight scene or a chase scene or gunplay or any high-end scene where it would affect gameplay. I didn't think it affected my gameplay at all. It didn't affect my feel of the game. And to be honest, aside from the launch on the base console systems, I think they did a pretty good job. And the hatred towards this company needs to be toned down a bit. Because we got to remember, a lot of the games that came up before, like No Man's Sky, any of the Assassin's Creeds, The Witcher, numerous open world RPGs, MMOs. Don't forget Grand Theft Auto Online. When that first started, Rockstar had a shit show in their hands with that. I remember that was down for a couple months. They couldn't get things working right. You log in, log off, crashed all the time. They eventually got it working. So let's just give them a bit more time. Let them find the bugs that need to get fixed, and let them get the patches out, and we'll see where it takes us. And also, next year we get the next-gen versions of this coming out, and we'll see how that stacks up to how the game plays and looks from running the base code. This is Mike. If you like what you see, subscribe and like, and don't forget to comment in the comment section below.